Yeah, yeah, that's about 10 grand in the day.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, folks, time to get going, so I want to go ahead and start. We're ready to start, Travis?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Our judge we had slated for this evening, Todd Feedback, is very sick this week and unable to judge for us. Now, the kindness of his heart, Larry Leubbert has stepped in to take his place. So appreciate you doing that for us, Larry. Got me out of a tight spot.
Yeah, it worked out fine. Like I told you earlier, I could stay on the schedule for March, but if the schedule holds for my surgery, probably be safe to have a backup just in case I have a complication or it gets delayed or something.
Yeah, I might bug Todd about that to see if he's up to it. Maybe he might take your place in March, or like I say, I'll see how you're doing. If you feel like doing it, hey, we'll be happy to have you.
Yeah. I'm hoping everything goes well.
Yeah. Wish you well with that, because that's I know what that is. I know what that surgery's all about.
Yeah, it's not simple.
I will say this: if you have to have shoulder surgery, you will wish you was having knee surgery.
I'll bet.
Got home down Missouri a couple weeks ago, ran into my brother-in-law's neighbor who I've known forever. That he was all bundled up in his shoulder. Same thing. I think he'd been 3 weeks since he had it.
Knee surgery is a cakewalk compared to shoulder surgery.
Yeah, he was complaining pretty good.
Actually have no pending old business. I don't see if anyone had any old business that from meetings past that they need to bring up or discuss.
One thing that I was wondering about was our recordings.
Yes.
Whether or not any of those are accessible.
I am in the process of editing those down. I uploaded them to YouTube, and I tried to trim off I tried to trim off the first 30 minutes or so, because it's not really club related stuff. It's kind of us chit chat. And went in and did that for all the videos, and it didn't tape for whatever reason. So I need to go back and try it again. So, but they are all uploaded. I just haven't had a chance. I mean, they're just not edited down yet.
So they are visible?
They are visible.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Once I get them trimmed down, I'm going to try it again after the meeting tonight, see if I can get them to work. And I'll send out an email to everybody.
Yeah, I notice if I come in early, it says it's already recording, and I can't stop the recording. Is there any trick to that?
I set it up this time because I knew I might be out for a few meetings, and I have it set up to automatically record the meetings as soon as somebody starts it. So when you click on the first person, you click on the link, it'll actually already start recording. So okay. I may turn that off, because I should be at the next several meetings. So
okay,
turn that off.
All right.
Then I won't have to turn them down again. So.
Yeah, because I mean,
or trimming.
Yeah, you just don't want 30 minutes of just useless banter back and forth.
Right.
Any other old business that we need to discuss? Nope. Okay, the only new business I have was the Hayes, Kansas Arts Council celebrating its 40th year this year. And each year they have an exhibition from entries over 5 states, which is Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Colorado. Sorry, Larry, no Iowa. But this year they had 671 works submitted. From those, 160 were chosen as finalists. And our secretary, who's not here tonight, Tom Wedbush, he was given an honorable mention. There were 24 finalists with 4 places in 3 categories, 12 honorable mentions. Tom got one of the honorable mentions. And if anybody's interested, if you go to www.hayesartcouncil.org, and I can email that out to anybody that wants it. You can look at the photos they had put in there. Some pretty good ones. I was kind of impressed with most of them. And so tonight we have Todd, who's not been able to be here, Tom Wedbush, and also Spencer Carey. So that's really all I have as far as business goes. When you get to Larry, when you get to Tom Wedbush or Spencer Carey's prints, I got some notes that they sent me about their photos. They're not
Okay.
not long notes, but just a little bit of something about the background on them.
Yeah, we'll just kick
So-
in anytime when we're talking. That's no problem.
Right. So if there's nothing else going on, I'm gonna give you the floor, Larry.
Well, why don't you pull up the photographs, because I tried copying them over to my hard drive. I couldn't do that, so to share my screen, it's gonna be kind of complicated. Can you bring them up on the screen for us?
I can,
Just starting from that, right down the list that they sent them to me.
okay, give me just a moment. I didn't do that.
I don't know why I couldn't get them off that Google Drive, but I could not copy them into my hard drive at all.
You tried the download?
I wasn't doing it right. I tried downloading them and it just sat there and would be hung. It wouldn't do anything.
Really?
But I'm not real professional on Zoom anyway, so I barely know how to share a screen. And I didn't change the sequence. I just took the sequence right off the email, and that's the way I wrote up the schedule.
Okay.
And Cal, I sent you the list. Did you get that?
Right.
Okay.
Yes, I got that. I think Travis is gonna pop up
Yeah.
the print so we can see it, look at them.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to be able to talk through the image itself.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, yeah, that's good. Okay. I like to talk about what I like about the photograph versus some of the feedback I get on my N4C stuff, which is everything they think is wrong with it. It's pretty irritating. So anyway, this is Bird in the Bath by Calvin. I like the idea. The main thing that caught my eye within a couple seconds is I thought there wasn't enough separation between the bird and the background for me to really get a feeling for the bird itself. I think it's doable to get in there and work with that image some to bring that bird out more. That was my main problem with it. And they had great detail in the perimeter of the bath, the tub and stuff, and really nice detail in the droplets. I would tend to crop the top off quite a bit down to that more of a light line to I'm more focused right in on the bird in the bath. I recognize that would make a long horizontal print out of it or whatever, but that would get my eye more right on the bird. But the issue was I just couldn't separate the bird from everything else. I mean, it's a great effort. I think there's more there. And guys, kick in with comments at any time if you want to. Anybody?
Might try just inverting it. Since it's black and white, the dark bird itself would become white. The
I
drop,
could do that.
it would be kind of abstract.
That'd be interesting.
But you could probably pick up enough. I'm not an expert on Lightroom, but I'm beginning to realize it has a lot of capabilities. You might be able to pick out the bird by itself and then do an inversion, like Raymond talked about. That's an interesting idea. The droplets would go black.
All right.
So maybe there's something to do there. The other thing I thought is just isolating that area some and just trying to raise the contrast or drop the shadows down to where I got more contrast in the image right there. I mean, it's a neat shot. Hard to do.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get rid of that fence back there.
Yeah.
Well, at least you soften the background. I mean,
Yeah,
right.
the background's nice and soft.
your depth of field is good.
Yeah, the rim is very nice and sharp and good detail, and the droplets are great.
The other thing you don't see that you would have not liked was the right third of that photo had a light colored woodshed back behind it also.
Oh. Yeah, that wasn't a good.
Our Photoshop got rid of that.
Yeah. You could darken
Yeah, I
that
won't
little
leave
white
this
spot underneath the bowl on the left side, that hot spot there, you could knock that down too. That would help.
Yeah, I agree. That's pretty distracting.
Yeah.
The ones on the right are smaller, but they're distracting also.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's not hard to knock down. From what I'm learning.
Those are easy.
Okay. Next one is catch me if you can. Yeah. My general reaction to this, I mean, I like the action shot. I thought it was a lot of grays. I thought it needed more contrast. And I'm not sure the trampoline at the top of the image really helps. I could crop that out to focus more on the action. Yeah, up in there. Just take that down somewhere down above the dogs, but and then there's that bright area up right above the dogs. I would darken that. It's a little on the soft side, but it's a high, it's a fast moving shot, so it's really hard to stop the action. But
Who's the maker?
I think that's the Dennis Lindell. Is it Lindell or Lindell?
Lindell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dennis
Okay.
Lindell.
Be careful out there.
But yeah, I mean, the main thing that caught my eye when I instantly opened up was I thought it needed more contrast. There's a lot of grays.
It's flat.
That's a little bit blurry. I mean, a faster shutter speed would have helped, but you got to get up in the 1500th of a second range on something like that to really stop stuff.
Yeah, at a minimum.
Yeah, I mean, more up by 850. I can't believe I shot some stuff with my 850 at 1/4000th of a second. I'd stop a baseball in midair.
Yeah.
And you can see the webbing in the baseball.
Hmm.
And other comments, everybody kick in.
Well, for my 2 cents, I agree with you. The trampoline is just too big a distraction because I don't know what I'm looking at first when I'm looking at the trampoline or looking at the dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the dog with the ball in his mouth and stuff. It's a neat action shot.
Right. It'd be great if you could isolate those two dogs out and got rid of the rest of that, but
Yep. Okay. Next one, flowing through. Okay. I really like this one. This got first place. I really liked it. I just had a reaction to it when I saw it. I like taking shots like this. That's probably why I really liked it. I got stuff down in the Ozarks. My sister-in-law lives there. It's like this, so I've got down in the creek and done this. I thought it was a good time exposure. It's obviously a fairly long shutter time. So it's done really well from that standpoint. You got nice moving water, but everything else is nice and sharp. My comments were, I thought you had quite a bit of sky that really didn't add to it. I dropped that down. And then when I do that, just hold my hand over it to shade that. The highlights right above along the bank might be a little bit bright yet. Might be tempted to knock them down once I cropped some of the sky out. But those are kind of nitpicking. A little bit of a hot spot on the bottom left corner, especially in the water. You might brought that down a little bit and get a little more detail there. And then the bottom left corner could have been darkened, but that's all nitpicky stuff. In general, I thought it was a really nice shot. That's why I gave it first place.
That really needs to be flipped.
Flip.
Compositionally flipped.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
So you're reading left to right as we normally do.
You realize the water's coming down to the left
Yeah,
hand corner.
going left to right.
I'm sorry, the right hand corner.
It's flowing left to right on my screen.
It's flowing left to right.
Yeah, I'd still flip it.
Yeah, I didn't thought about that. What's not looking at?
Flip it horizontally, that is.
Yeah, that's what I gathered that, yeah.
Yeah.
I assume everybody's shooting these digitally and then they're just doing a black and white conversion.
I hope they're not just doing a black and white conversion.
Well, it depends on, I mean, some of,
If
The
you just
Lightroom
convert
has a number of
to
options.
grayscale, you're almost destroying it.
yeah. I'm still working on some of that, yeah. I don't do a lot of black and white conversions. Not very often. We have a black and white competition in the club here, but I don't really do much in it. And some of the stuff that I've seen, I'm not that impressed with, so. Anyway, other comments?
Whose is that?
That's
That's
mine.
Bill Shaw.
Oh, it's Bill's?
I
Okay.
mentioned that. I forget to say that, yeah.
That's,
Okay, next.
that's in the creek, in the areas, south of Corporate Woods.
Oh. Okay,
Oh, I see the title and stuff up in the upper left. Sorry.
yeah.
Should have been looking there.
There's a bike trail in there somewhere I've ridden on when my daughter lived in Olathe, yeah.
Yeah, it's behind me. The bike trail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, Corporate Woods is about as dead as a doornail now. Not a lot in there, from what I've
Yeah.
heard. A lot of empty office space.
oh, wow.
Yeah, that
Okay.
could be, Raymond. I don't know. I don't study that, but that's probably true everywhere now after COVID and
Yeah,
working from home and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah,
downtown Kansas City is about the same.
yeah,
my
probably.
oldest daughter lives out in the Seattle area now, suburb of Seattle, and I've worked for T-Mobile. And she talks about, a lot of office space out there. And then Sarah, my other daughter out there, lives in Corvallis, Oregon now, and she works from home 2-3 days a week. So it's kind of interesting how things have changed. I don't know, maybe I don't know if you do much for the West Coast or not.
My
Okay,
wife,
this one is Good Break by Tom Wigbush. I thought this was a neat idea for a motion shot. I mean, the competition was motion, and I thought this was a neat idea. The thing that bothered me some was the transparency of the 8-ball, especially on the top, with the white balls behind it. I'm not, I would like to have more definition in that ball. I think it would a more solid black there would really set things off better. But in general, it's a neat shot. And it got 3rd place. I'd like, I got
What-
both out there. I'm gonna try that.
What placement did you give this?
3rd,
Third?
yeah, 3rd place. I like the balance. I like the balance of everything in general. The form that existed. I just wish I could have got more definition in the 8-ball. That was my main objection.
Very impactful.
Yes, I thought the impact was great.
Tom told me that he took numerous shots, took about 20 shots
I'll bet he did.
to get
Well,
that.
I believe that.
To get that, he says, other than just getting a blank table, when
Yep.
he added a footnote, said he's glad he's not shooting film.
Yeah, I believe that. That's not easy to do. And I think he could darken that 8-ball up there where the white's coming through. I mean, I could play around in the Lightroom and darken that down. I mean, that wouldn't necessarily be illegal because you do the same thing in the dark room.
Yeah,
Sure.
that would be easy to do.
Yeah. Maybe sharpen the digit a little bit, just a little bit blurred. I mean, it's got a lot of impact. I like it. It's got a lot of impact. Go ahead, everybody.
Yeah, when I look at this, I can't discern which is the cue ball and which are, I see a few number balls.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't figure that out either.
Can't figure out which is the cue ball, but yeah, I like that. It's an interesting concept.
I wonder how he got the streaks
Slow
all the
shutter.
way around. How did that happen? See what I'm kind of seeing? That
Yeah.
from the 8-ball, to all the 4 corners, there looks to be streaks.
Yeah, and it's uniform.
Well, in theory, I think there's probably a little bit of difference in the velocity from when they started to where they ended. So that's what maybe why the very end of the movement is a little denser because the balls are actually flowing down just a
Yeah.
hair. I don't know. It's a neat shot. I mean, it's not something fun to try. Let me give that a try. I got a pool table in the basement.
Yeah, he would have had to time that slow shutter just right to keep them all in the frame too.
Absolutely. Yeah, unless he's got a fancy audio device to trip his camera,
Yeah. I think
which
it's
I think you
cropped a
can
little.
buy.
He's cropping a little tight on the top and bottom too, I think.
Yeah, a little
Right.
bit. Yeah,
And some on the left too.
yeah. A little bit more space for him to move would have been good.
Yeah.
But it's a neat try. It was a neat execution. There's a guy in our club here that does water droplets. But I guess there's some kind of commercial system that you can buy that electronically trips the shutter in your camera as the drop is released from some device on top. But he's got pictures of the water popping back up, and I mean, just phenomenal stuff. But I think that electronic rig was $400 or $500. I saw it on the internet one time. Retired doctor. I guess he can afford it. I was in a shoot with him a couple weeks ago on Fall Color, and he had just converted to some Nikon mirrorless cameras.
Yeah.
And he was telling me that he saw the D850 had better resolution than the new mirrorless camera. He was really surprised. So, oh, I couldn't. Good to hear. Okay, anything else, anybody? Okay, this next one is Smoking by Bill Stodmeyer. I don't know, it was a really good idea. Good sharpness in the bowl, good, really good quality sharpness in the bowl. The white plate on the bottom left, on right, I guess it's say, really pulls your eye away. It didn't matter if that wasn't there. I don't think the tongs would have been fine, but that white plate really, in the very corner especially, is really forced out to some degree. So that really pulls my eye away. The other thing, if that wouldn't have been there, the only other thing I would really push for is to increase the contrast in just the handle, so there was more of a contrast between the handle and the smoke. That would give it more definition. But it's a neat shot. It's a good try. It's got good quality, depth of field, good textures and stuff. It just needed some cropping a little bit, but and you can probably burn that plate in quite a bit. That would make a difference. But maybe it's just me, but I'd like to see a little bit more contrast up there in that handle with the steam. I think that'd give it more definition to what's going on. And then darken the bottom left corner to just to bring your eye in more to the center. But it's got good depth of field and stuff like good surface textures. The highlights are nice, clean. Got potential.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
In case anybody's wondering, that's a Sears electric grill I bought years ago. And that's a coffee pot lid on top of it.
Ah,
About that.
I like the smoke and the stuff up there. That's kind of neat. It's not, that's why I think it's got the potential. I could have with it some. See what I can do with it.
Yeah, I think actually, Bill, I think you could have elevated the camera angle. And I mean,
Yeah.
the steam and everything is really well, in this case, smoke, I guess, is the point of interest, I think,
Mhm.
and eliminate quite a bit of the table and the plate next to it. Probably given more focus on the smoke and the handle and the fact that things were happening up there.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah, I think it,
didn't even think about the plate being a problem when I took it. I agree with you, it is.
I mean, your
The
eye always
table,
goes to the brightest area of the image. It's automatically.
yeah, the table itself is even, well, the table and the plate are so light, they're distracting from the rest of it.
Yeah.
And the point of interest really is the smoke and the handle up
Yep.
there. And you need more content up there to
Yeah,
make
if
that
you got some separation in the white handle, whatever that is, underneath the handle, if you had a little bit more separation and tones in there, would have added more interest also.
yeah.
Yeah, the higher camera angle is not a bad idea. I hadn't thought about it that way. That's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
They might put some more dark behind the smoke to make it stand out.
Yeah,
Right.
get more contrast.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, in Lightroom, you could pop the contrast a lot just with a brush tool or something. And just outline all that area and just kick the contrast up. Okay, anybody else? Okay, go on. The Twirl was the next one by James Schultz. This was interesting. I had a little bit of trouble trying to figure out what I was seeing. I thought the white band around kind of ran across the top of it. Didn't necessarily hurt it, but didn't help it. But I would have got rid of the white down in the bottom right corner. I don't think that added anything to it. I tied it for third. I had trouble deciding whether this should be third or the other one should be third. So I made some comment. I thought the highlight ring, the big ring, was a little bit light. I would have darkened that a little bit. Maybe try to get a little more texture in the center ring, a little bit more definition. But, and there's a shaded lighter ring more to the center. I thought had some interest. I would have tried to lighten that a little bit. Bring more of the feel of movement and stuff in the image. But it's not bad. It's just that I had to make some kind of decision about what I liked and didn't like for this one versus the other one. So kind of nitpicking.
When I removed the white down in the corner,
Yeah.
It left, there was a hole in there, then the continuity between the whole ring got lost. And then I tried to just darken it up to where, it wasn't so bright. And then the next thing, I didn't like that either.
Yeah.
So I just opted to leave it as is. I got tired of it. So
I mean, it's a neat image. It's got some interesting characteristics. You might try increasing the contrast in that center core just a little bit to get a little bit more definition there. That might help it give some depth to it. I don't know. I'm just suggesting some things to try. It's a neat image. I definitely wouldn't throw it away.
James, what is that exactly we're looking at?
Wells, kind of like a tilt-a-whirl.
That's what I figured, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, what you're doing is that you're really looking down on it. Because I took the shot from the Ferris wheel.
Huh, okay.
And it's
Interesting.
probably what, tenth of a second or so, 70 feet.
Oh, I don't have slightest idea anymore.
Okay. Okay.
Because that was shot with a negative. That was print film.
Oh. Now you might have tried up the sharpness just a little bit. I don't know if it could help. It could, or it could really hurt it. I don't know. I have to play with it and see.
When I scanned it, it pretty much fell apart. And if when you enlarge it's kind of disintegrates. So if you sharpen the edges, they pixelate.
Okay. Okay. 35 millimeter film to start with.
Yeah.
Huh. I've scanned a few 35 negatives, not a lot. The biggest problem I have with them is all the little dust spots. So I start blowing it up.
What resolution did you scan it at, Jim?
I don't really know. All I know is that the file was pretty big, but at the same time, it doesn't. My scanner doesn't give you a good sharp image.
Hmm.
And
the focus right?
I'm sorry.
Have you got it focus right? Sometimes I have to go in and manually focus mine. It's not supposed to automatically focus.
What, the scanner?
Yeah.
What I end up doing is actually putting the negative right on the plate.
Oh, you got flatbed
instead of in the negative holder.
Oh,
And because when you put it in the holder, then it even falls apart even more so. So I saw a recommendation, or somebody told me that if you put the negative right on the plate, and you can put some static electricity into it, and then it'll hold it in place. And that's kind of what I've been doing when I've been scanning the negatives.
I don't know what resolution
if you're scanning against glass, you need to use a oil that's made especially for that.
I was chicken to do that. That's what
you get the right oil, it's no problem.
So
and you should be able to set the resolution that you're scanning at. You want to scan at a pretty high resolution.
Yeah, as high as you can go.
Yeah.
Well, I think that by the time that I had the image was something like 1200, across the top, so there's not much information there.
No, there's not.
My 2.25 at 2400 DPI, but I scanned my 35 at 4000 DPI.
Yes.
So, just, I mean, if the scanner, I'll go with as high as the scanner will go. I don't care about file size.
And when you're setting that scanner up as a scanning film, the focus is automatically going to be looking for that film holder, and it's going to set a different depth for the focus. So you're always going to be soft.
Yeah.
You might try scanning it as a reflection And that
Right.
way the focus would be on the glass.
Okay.
But you definitely
Well,
want
that's
to use
good
the
to know.
oil. You definitely want to use the oil.
Yeah. I've
Yeah,
got a negative. 'Cause I got a Nikon camera, but I've got a Tech Pan film negative that I shot in 86 that I've scanned a few times, and I got blowing up like crazy on the screen before I see any pixelization. So I scanned at 4,000 DPI.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. The white border is probably not helping you a lot either, Jim.
When I'm looking at it on my screen, of course, it's all white, and then I not getting a real good chance to look at it when the background is black. So I have been putting that border around just in case. There's been some of the images that when they're I don't know how to explain it, that I needed something to define the edge. So in this case, it's a distraction.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could at least make it a dark gray.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, I didn't really focus on the border that much. I just kind of assumed that you wanted to do a white border, so I didn't really give that much thought.
Presentation, presentation, presentation.
Yeah, oh yeah,
I
I
end
agree.
up putting that border around a lot of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people in the club here do that too, mostly on prints, not on digital images. But if we have time, I sent Valerie that scan I did on my old car from 60 from 70. We have time, I can bring that up. You can see a scan that I did a week ago. I was just playing around. I was really surprised. But that was 4,000 DPI, and I didn't have to do hardly any color adjustments. I don't think I did hardly any adjustments in Lightroom other than a little bit of contrast. But we have time. I can keep pulling it up. If he can, I can try from this end. And I've come away convinced that there's a lot more I can do with my scanners than what I've been doing. There was a copy of. I don't know why that was in the system. I didn't deal with that one at all. It looked to me like the same image as before.
Yeah.
That might have been me trying to download. Now that I see it here, but that's what happened. That's why it's in there. Anyway, I didn't deal with it.
Yeah, it was showing you as the owner.
Yeah, I see that now. I didn't notice that. I just couldn't get them down. I wanted to get them down where I could just pull them up faster from this end, but I just didn't know. I have a couple appointments today. This is the last one, Going the Distance by Spencer Terry. My comments here was I really, this is a great motion shot. I really thought he did a good job of capturing the guy's face in focus and not blurred with the rest of it blurred. I thought that added a lot of character to it. But a couple things I didn't like, I had way too much sky. The sky doesn't add anything. It's all a bunch of white glob up there. And I would have been tempted to crop from the top down and then from the left in, not too tight from the left in, but get rid of a lot of that white sky and bring a little bit of. He's pretty much centered. Either that or come in from the right. But anyway, just to narrow it in a little bit, and but mainly to bring it down, make more of a long horizontal out of it. But that's the picture. That's the motion and moving through the horizontal area. I thought. Maybe a little bit of something contrast, but the real positive thing I saw was he did a good job capturing that guy's face, its sharpness with it, and the rest of it blurred. I thought that technically that was well done. So that got second place.
I think he was trying to highlight
Yeah.
this frisbee that's up here.
Yep. That's frisbee up there above the tree.
That's what he's looking at.
What was
I
that?
wouldn't, I didn't catch that.
I didn't either, James. And it looked like top of the tree, you know, just skipped a
Yeah.
little space there, but
Right.
I can see it now because it's got a kind of a metallic looking one spot there, but the sun must have caught it, but
But it's not obvious enough to really,
yeah,
unless he put that in the title, which I mean, going the distance, to me, expresses more about running, not
Yeah.
playing frisbee.
Yeah.
I agree with Larry. It really needs to be cropped. Probably,
Yeah.
I don't know what the size is, but 2 or 3 inches down from the top.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Don't center it. Don't center it. Don't center it.
Do one way or the other. There you go.
Yeah.
They need to come down a little bit more. There you go. Now pop that up and see what it looks like. If you can.
Let's see. I can't zoom in. Keep the
Fine.
drawing.
You get the image, you get feeling more, he's much more, you're focused on him moving through the image.
Mhm.
Yeah, sharpest faces, I thought that was really well done. It's not perfectly sharp, but it's pretty darn good for a shot like that. I thought they added a lot to it.
Now you can see where his eyes are.
Mhm.
And then, so then the frisbee comes into play, or,
Well, I didn't even pay attention to that. I mean, I did blow it up a little bit on my screen because I wanted to check the sharpness of his face, but I just assumed that was part of the tree up there. I didn't pay much attention to that.
I think if you would have darkened the frisbee down a little bit,
That would help, yeah,
it might have helped.
yeah. I just assumed it was a track run.
Well, I think this was shot with a motion to the camera when he shot it.
Yeah.
Yeah, panning, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can get some really neat stuff doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay, that was all of the sign.
So what were your winners on this one again?
Okay, first place is Flowing Through by Bill Shaw. Second place was the last one, Going the Distance by Spencer Carey. And third place was Good Break by Tom Wedbush. That one, there you go. That's a neat shot, yeah. And obviously, those are just my opinions. Somebody else may have other opinions, but I enjoyed looking at these. I'm glad I volunteered. It's fun. Okay, here's the opens. This is called Ice by Spencer Carey. My general feeling here was it's way too much white in the image for me to. I mean, it needs to be cropped or reposed some other manner. I could barely make out the icicles. So my comments were too much white area, pulled the eye away from the main subject, which is basically the light head, the lamp head, and the icicles. And without a title, I wouldn't have been sure what I was looking at for sure. I blew the image up and just got rid of the vertical post and just did the horizontal section with the light head on it. So I cropped about 60% of it away. And start picking up enough texture and stuff in that pad to actually see yeah, there you go. You can start seeing some, the icicles and stuff. But you're looking up at them. I mean, I think trying to get icicles, you almost have to get them to where they're vertically in your image so you can actually see the size of them and pick up some of the texture of them.
Yeah, he told me on this, and he got this while he was walking out in Shawnee when it was snowing. And he thought it'd be a good composition just shooting straight into the sky. My comment, if you're going to shoot up into the sky, you want some kind of structure behind it. You want some clouds or something.
Yeah.
Something there to kind of let you know I'm looking at the sky. Even though you're looking up at a street light, it'd be nice to have some kind of structure behind it.
Yeah. Now, in March, early March here in Iowa, if we get a lot of snow, the roof above my dining area faces directly south. And I'll get icicles down off that gutter that are halfway down the patio door in height. So and I'll shoot through them then. Icicles are a fun thing to shoot, but I think you almost have to have a vertical so you get the feeling for them being an icicle. Either that or some kind of close-up technique. I've played around with a lot of shots. I've never gotten anything I really, really like. My most famous one was when I was still at Hallmark. Went up on the A building in the middle of the winter with those big cooling tires up there. They had icicles all over the sides of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, had it up in the noon news. That was very cool. Those icicles were all very cool. They were big. Anyway, this was Anthos webworm moth by Calvin. I thought this was a fantastic macro shot. You did a really good job of the macro. But it almost kind of needed a setting. It's a black background. It's like a lab sample almost. A setting of maybe on a leaf or something like that could have added to this a lot. And then I noticed the edges of the legs were a little bit gray, looking almost like, I know it's not the condition of the animal or whether that's over sharpened or what, but that just caught my eye for some reason. So
what do you think was over sharpened?
the edges of the legs, it's kind of a white edge to them. Sometimes I've seen that if you over sharpen something. Yeah, right, just the very edges. See? Well, okay, maybe that's just the way that the light reflects off of them. Okay.
That was pretty much how the light came out on that thing.
Okay,
I didn't really sharpen this that much.
Yeah.
I played with this few ways because the edges of these wings were really light colored.
Wow.
And I played with the color curves a little bit, and it started getting too gray, too model looking. So
okay.
I backed off of it. But if you're familiar with these little moths, that little bug from the top of his head, not his antenna, but from his head to his tail, he's about 5/8 of an inch long.
Okay.
Have you ever seen these silk webs in the trees in the fall, just full of worms?
Yeah, in the walnut trees.
This is an adult. This is an adult Atlantis web wing.
Yeah. It's a great macro shot. You did a good job of taking the macro. Like, you could have got that on one of those limbs or something, maybe even facing you a little bit. That would have been a great macro.
He's actually stuck on our back storm door. He's sitting on the glass.
And I mean, it looks a little bit too much like a lab sample. I mean, it's the background just kind of it's just there. It doesn't give me a setting. But that's just me.
I kind of like the use of the negative space around it. I'd probably crop the right and left side a little bit, but
yeah,
I look at it more as a study than I do something that is in nature, because I think the beauty of the aesthetics of the structure of the bug are really what's interesting here, especially from this angle. And I'm not sure the environment would be a supportive element in this case.
Crop,
Yeah,
a little bit of cropping
background
might
was-
help, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Is the background black velvet?
No, the background is Photoshop because the background was trees and sky, and it was really bright.
So you
So
wouldn't have been able to isolate it at all then.
yeah,
Okay,
this is daylight, so I didn't put any flash on it. This is natural light.
Hmm.
This is what was hitting him.
so it's setting all this green or something right in front of you? So you're the underneath, I assume this is the underneath of it.
Yes, this is the underneath side of it. He was sitting on the outside of our storm door. And I
Okay.
walked up there and saw him and I thought, oh, okay, I'll just start playing with my macro lens here.
Mhm.
So
It's a great macro shot, it really is. I mean, from a, capturing detail and stuff, you did a good job. Okay, next one is Hallway by Bill Steinmeier. I like the tonal range of this thing. I mean, I thought it had really good tonal range in it. I would have cropped it in from the right. I wouldn't, I don't think that, look at that, check that window adds anything out of come up against the brick. And maybe a little bit off the top, not a lot. But, the main emphasis is that it's beautiful tile floor. It looks like some kind of tile covering on the steps. So those textures are nice. And I think I tried to focus more in on that and, bring things in a little tighter. And then, work with it from there. I think it has potential.
I like all the diagonals.
Yeah, I like this concept. I just thought it could be cropped a little tighter.
Well, I think being an architectural shot, it's not vertical. The elements are not vertical and need to be rotated.
Yeah, the wall's not vertical. I don't know.
It's about 5 degrees.
It could be,
off.
yeah. Yeah, I have problems with that.
Or you can warp it.
If you need to. There is a little bit of parallax problem there, but
I was wondering.
rotation is the biggest problem.
Hmm.
The camera angle is giving you a parallax there, which
Yeah.
could be corrected very easily.
Yeah, you really notice the parallax in the top of above the white on that column on the right upper right corner. That's where you really
Right.
start to see it.
Right.
Like if you're working with Lightroom, I've learned how to turn that grid on where you can really check for vertical and horizontal lines and bring it in. Well, I had one I turned in the club here. It's a lake shot I took out in the Cascades. That was only my horizontal line on the lake was only 2 degrees off. It's horizontal, and somebody caught it. So, like Raymond's got a better eye than I do for that kind of stuff. Okay. Anybody else?
I like the shot. I just that correcting maybe some of the lines.
Yeah.
And maybe
No, I like it
add
too.
some contrast to it, but I really like the design quality of it.
Mm-hmm. I do too. And he did a good job of holding the texture and the floor tile and stuff. So I think it's got real potential. I'd work with it some more.
Okay.
Okay, next one is Overlook at the Kansas Badlands by Bill Shaw. I thought it was a neat shot. My comment was reminded me of the Dakota Badlands. Good sharpness in the fence in the foreground. I thought I could have used a little bit more depth of field, but I thought the distance split right in the middle of the shot were a little soft, and I blew it up, and they would definitely came up soft, and it caught my eye pretty quickly. And I think it's got too much sky. The sky doesn't add anything. It's just big blank space, so it can be cropped out quite a bit. And I'm not It may not be perfectly level horizon wise. I can't tell for sure.
I agree. It's about a degree off.
Yeah. Yeah. But I thought the foreground stuff, I mean, it did a good job in the foreground stuff. It's nice and sharp and stuff. So I like it from that standpoint. And I really said here, this was a real toss up for third place. It's kind of tied for third place. But I didn't give it third place. I just gave this, I was from between this one and another one.
Yeah, there's
So, again, everybody.
a gray structure on the horizon line on the left side, about, at least on my monitor, go back to the right. One there and one to the right.
One to the right, yeah, a little B one. Yeah, I saw that, but I just didn't, I kind of ignored it.
I would
Take that out real easily.
it looks like a radio tower. I mean, or a microwave tower. I would just delete that. Delete it,
Yeah.
especially the tallest one. Oh, it's a power line.
Yeah, it's a power line.
There's two of them.
Goes all the
There's
way
two of them.
across
Yeah,
in the back.
they're power lines, aren't they?
Yeah, those would be
yeah.
really easy to get rid of.
Yeah. I just thought I had too much blank sky.
Yeah, the sky needs to be cropped quite a bit.
Yeah, a lot, yeah. But your focus is really the fence and the stuff out in front of it. Yeah, come on down, even more, a little tighter down in the sky.
Yeah, I can see your point, guys.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's far more
Now see how
effective.
your focus is really on that Badlands stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
The
Yeah.
foreground's nice. You
Can't
know,
wrap
I-
Zoom in at the same time.
yeah. I mean, the focus is right there now, right there, right at the Badlands. It really comes out and jumps out at you.
And it might be more effective. Did you put a sepia tone on that?
I did.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
little
I
bit.
think it might be more effective. It was truly black and white.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Good exposure, got good detail in the foreground and background.
Especially kept the detail in this really highlight area right at the center.
Yeah,
You go right above that, right at the edge of the cliff, right above that area. You can blow it up a little bit. You can see it's not quite in focus.
yeah.
It just caught my eye when I noticed it. It didn't look like it was quite sharp enough. And I'm guilty of that too. I mean, I'm nitpicking, but I'm guilty of the same problem.
Bill, did you spend much time in there?
Yeah, it's a nice place to go visit.
Is there any trail down inside it?
There is, and unfortunately, you have to go with a ranger, and the gal wasn't there on that particular evening. But so you're just limited to the trails you can actually walk on top of, and to the sides of the formation.
Yeah.
But you can call out there and inquire as to whether or not she's going to do her tour or not.
Okay. Because that's been
What's this
kind of
about?
on one of my lists.
Yeah, it's well worth it. I've been out there 3 times now, and it's, you catch something every time that's new. So
What part of Kansas is this at?
that's in the western part of Kansas, out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I figured that.
Yeah,
Well, that's Kansas.
but yeah, it's a neat formation, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend it.
Okay, the next one is Prowl by Jim Schultz. This got first place. I thought this had some real drama. I really loved it. I liked it. I thought it had lots of drama. The the formation against an absolute black background really made it pop out at me. And when I looked at it this afternoon, I thought it might have been a bit dark, but looking at it tonight, it doesn't bother me as much. It might have been the light coming through my window behind me this afternoon. It's just that it looks better now than it did this afternoon from that standpoint. I like the way it dropped down from the right to the left. It's down. It really leads my eye through the photograph. The detail in the highlights on the cliff. But the black background really made it pop out, I thought. That was a good idea.
James, where is that?
It's in Arches.
Oh, okay.
Ah, I gotta remember shooting some. I gotta remember you shot that like that. I like that.
One of the things that that I liked about it when I was looking at it and didn't notice it when I shot it is that the feeling that it was really pushing across the landscape and that it's pushing the boulders in front of it like it's, you know, like waves, you know, or it's
Almost like the bow of a ship almost.
yeah, like the bow of a ship.
Yeah.
I didn't want to title it The Bow. So,
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a wall hanger. If you printed it, I'd put it up on the wall. I really liked it. So congratulations. Nice shot.
It is. That's beautiful.
What time of day did you shoot this?
it was fairly, I was thinking that we were there somewhere around 6, 7 o'clock. And it might have been a little bit earlier than that. The sky was still was a pretty deep blue. And it was, the sunlight was just hitting on that face. And the thing was really pretty dark in shadow. So I, tried to bring the face of it up some so that it wasn't just that white streak on the left. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this afternoon when I was looking at this, I thought that the face was a little too dark. But as I said, looking at it tonight, it looks fine. I think it might have been the lighting coming in from behind me this afternoon. But it looks good on my screen now. That's a great shot. Arches is a neat place. Okay, next one is Rusty Truck. This is a sepia tone. The neat idea of sepia, I used to do sepia toning in the dark room, and I don't see the richness in the sepia typically I used to see in my darkroom prints. It was kind of a little bit low contrast or flat to some degree too. I don't know if it's. I would like to see a little bit more depth in the sepia. I thought it was a good idea. The good detail in the front. I noticed that the logo, the international logo on the side, the very first part of that international is on the focus. It caught my eye pretty quick. A little bit more depth of field might have helped. But by the way, this is that third place. Yeah, so I said here, first impression was it could use a little bit more contrast, and then burn in the very light sky in the top right. At least get a little bit more definition texture in those autofocus bushes there. They look really washed out compared to the rest of it. I think more depth in those may not pull my eye to the sky as much. But it's a good idea. It's got some potential. For some reason, I just don't think the depth, the black go deep enough or something. I'm not sure what it is exactly.
It's flat.
Yeah, it's flat contrast wise. Yeah.
Yeah. And he could have dropped his camera angle where the headlight would have become more
Good point.
part of the picture.
Yeah.
And it would have probably increased the interest level. It would have sacrificed some of the hood, but I think that would have been pretty easy and probably a little bit of the chrome ornament above the word international. But and there, I don't know what happened on that sky behind those trees, but it looks like
Is it blue color to you?
there's some problems there.
Yeah,
Okay, I thought maybe it was just me. It almost
No,
looks
there's
like a
there's some
duotone or something, yeah.
yeah, there's some problems there.
Yeah, I would like,
yeah,
And by lowering the camera level, it would have eliminated the trees.
yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. Yeah,
Wouldn't have had that problem at all.
yeah. Yeah,
and
I was gonna say the same thing.
I would like to have seen the whole headlight.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'd like more, the sepia is kind of flat. I mean, sepia should be a little bit contrastier than that. I'm not sure exactly what to do. I've never tried sepia digitally, so I don't know what to do it. But usually when I used to do sepia in darkroom, I tend to print. I tend to print a little bit dark to start with, then bleach it back, and then sepia, because I would always lose a little bit of density in the process. And this doesn't have that richness I remember seeing.
Do we not usually kind of see more of the sepia in vintage photographs? And
That's
maybe
the implication.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's maybe what he was going for here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what he said on here, is just trying to capture the mood of an old truck, you know.
Yeah.
It just needs a lower camera angle for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I mean, you might be able to go into Lightroom and play games with some of the hues and stuff like that to get a richer brown. I don't know. That's something you have to play with. I'm often the more color theory than I'm up to speed on anymore.
I can give you a hint that Raymond gave me. I'll tell you the hint that Raymond gave me. Curves.
Yeah, well, curves are the contrast control.
I think he probably could have, in Lightroom, if he would have played with the clarity a little bit, he could have brought out some of the texture. I think
Yeah,
if he would have basically increased the contrast in the texture by adding some clarity,
Yep.
that would have made it pop a little more, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but doesn't Clarity play games with the mid-tone contrast?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It does, yeah, just the mid-tones, yeah.
Well, how many of you are actually shooting in camera raw?
I am.
Oh, wait, yeah,
I always shoot camera raw.
that's a given.
Yeah. I don't see anything but camera raw, period.
Yeah,
I
I
don't even
agree.
I don't even have a backup set up to do a JPEG. And when I'm shooting, it's all camera raw, period.
I'll shoot in both, but my Photoshop won't recognize my raw files.
Oh,
It will my Canon equipment and some of the other things, but it won't recognize my Nikon.
You need to download the converter.
yeah. You
Yeah.
convert to Nikon stuff.
Just updating your Photoshop ought to solve that problem.
It's as updated as it'll go. It's a CS3 program.
Oh, that's ancient.
So you're
Yeah,
not on the
that's
monthly,
That's 1992 or 3.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, what's it cost me? $10 a month or something like that for?
yeah,
Yeah.
And
So
I
they
can't do that with my old computer either.
Oh,
Yeah, it won't
Yeah.
run on that.
Nikon does have a raw converter to JPEG and lets you kind of bring them across a little higher resolution sometimes. But,
yeah, the Nikon software itself has the converter, if I remember right.
Yeah.
What it's called.
Yeah, DNG.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think something like that.
Yeah, my old laptop wasn't running Lightroom very well either. I got really lucky. I picked up an HP gaming laptop that has a high-end video card in it. That it runs really well. Okay, next one is The Fence by Dennis Lindo. This got second place. I like the visual impact of the fence and the shadows to the grass. Here again, though, I thought you could get rid of a bunch of the sky. And as I held my hand over it and brought, it dropped almost all the way down, basically down to the roof of that house that's in the background. My focus really went to the projected shadows and stuff then. And I thought it had a lot more impact when I did that. That's probably my only criticism. And then when you do that, my thought was you might open up the highlights a little bit in the grass, because when I did that, it tended to look a little bit dark. But anyway, I thought I had a lot of impact. It was a good idea. So that's my comments. Second place. Anybody else pick in?
I like it. Yeah, it's the white, Raymond has always said, you got to be conscious of your white, because that's where your eyes are going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
So I'm thinking too, if you crop that right down just above the top of that fence,
Yeah, well, right, you could
you have a
put
whole
down
lot
to the
different.
table of that house. Yeah, let it go a little bit higher. You can get by with that, but you wouldn't have to cut the house roof off. Yeah, see the impact? Notice how, to see how the lines from that fence just pull you right into it, just all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So, great idea. It's much easier to criticize somebody else's stuff than it's to see the impact on your own. Okay, so recapping, first was Prowl by Jim Schultz. Second is this fence shot by Dennis Lindo. And third was the Rusty Truck Sepia by Tom Wedbush. Yeah, that's number one. Number two was the fence. And number three is the Rusty Truck. And I was really struck between that one and Kansas Badlands. If I could have given an honorable mention to Kansas Badlands, would have gotten an honorable mention. So that's it.
Anybody have anything else they want to add to the comments?
I thought it was a nice set of photographs. I've always enjoyed seeing you guys' work.
Yeah, that's a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
Larry.
I enjoy doing it. I love photography. I love playing with it.
I wish
now
we
that
now
that
had
I've
some
got more
more
time.
images.
Go ahead.
I was hoping or wishing that we had some more images to look at.
Sure.
We're missing some quality artists here.
Yeah, how many people in the club now?
I've got it right down to about a dozen.
I remember when I was there, would have been in the early 90s. I think we had 9.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few past club meetings that had less than 6 people show up for a meeting.
Yeah.
But then it bounced up. It's gone up. It fluctuates up and down over time.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple of gals who don't want to participate in the Zoom meetings. But on the other hand, they're nervous about having to drive down to Kansas City to meet, in person. Because they'd have to drive quite a ways to get here, in the dark, especially this time of year.
Yep.
So, I mean, to me, the Zoom meeting has been a good way to go, because we can have anyone from anywhere join in and be part of it.
Yep.
We've got one of the gals. She's down by Lake Palm de Terre. She's an active member, but she's not putting anything in yet this year. It's Linda Russell. She always does great work. And I
Yeah,
think
our
her
club
problem
here-
is,
You know, like Kathy and Donna and, you know, I was kind of missing them, you know.
sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with Kathy. I think she's having some issues with a relative or something like that. You know, I don't know if it's her husband or her mother or somebody like that. But then Donna, oh,
Corbin?
can't remember that. I'm having a
Long.
brain fart here. What
Long.
percent, Joe?
Donna Corbin.
Donna Long.
Donna Long.
Donna Long,
Long.
thank you.
Yeah,
Right.
Donna.
Yeah. She does not want to do the Zoom at all. She doesn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, our club here has about roughly about 20 people, and we do mostly Zoom. But when we have a meeting at the downtown library, we get we only get maybe 6 or 8 people on Zoom. We have an in-person meeting a couple of times a year now. Last one we had like 20 people show up at the in-person meeting, so we had a lot more people there than we usually get on Zoom. So I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah.
But I'm in a woodworking club in Cedar Rapids, and our membership is way down since COVID, way down. I mean, when I first got involved in that up there, we had 25, 30 people in a meeting, and now we'll have at most a dozen. COVID really knocked it.
Well, wasn't it mentioned that the Lee Summit group is down? The Johnson County group is down. So it's just people getting
Oh, the Lee Summit group isn't down.
it. Oh, I thought that
No, in fact, if
Well,
anything, it's growing. I mean, we've had as many as 30 people there.
is that right?
You're talking about the critique group?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're growing slowly. But yeah,
Yeah, you're talking about Johnson County. You're talking about Johnson County Camera Club. They're
they're
deceased.
defunct.
Yeah, they went with the Digital Dimensions group, and then there's only, gosh, maybe even less than half of them show up at meetings.
Well, I gave a presentation to the Digital Dimensions I guess about a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
And they had about 55 people there.
Wow.
Yeah, they, from people that are in the original club, tend to show up. Now, there's a camera club in Fort Collins, Colorado, that I've gone on camera shoots with. My ex-son-in-law was a member, and they have something like 80 some odd people. Now, I don't know who shows up for the meetings, but I went to one of their meetings and it seemed like about 50 people. There's also one in Loveland, which isn't that far away.
Yeah.
It might be because of the universities there.
Could be.
Well, what was the guy's name that used to be on the Waco club? He was Frank something. Anybody remember him?
Frank Vincent?
Yeah, he was out there at Fort Collins area.
Yeah, he actually lives closer to Denver.
Okay.
He lives closer to Denver, and then he also taught school in Fort Collins.
My problem is since I retired, I've gotten into woodworking pretty heavy. So I'm kind of splitting my time between photography and woodworking. But like I said, I just bought a whole bunch of camera gear, so I'm trying to get back into it. And I still got the working darkroom downstairs.
Do you really?
Yeah, I bought some B76 developer from place out in Washington State, Photography Formulary. They make a D76 that blows Kodak D76 completely away. The contrast was unbelievable with that stuff. And they make a paper developer it's a spin-off of Ansel Adams' Ansco 130 process. And the richness in the black took a big jump. I'm really surprised. So I'm kind of I'm fiddling around in the darkroom a little bit again, especially during the winter. So I still enjoy doing black and white prints. I don't do any color printing anymore.
Yeah, if you're on the web, you might look at Craig McCord's work,
Okay,
black and white.
yeah. but, they lately.
He lives out here just, he lives out here off 50 Highway.
Okay, Craig, what?
Craig McCord, MCCORD.
Okay,
Now, is he using a view camera?
Yeah. Exclusively 4x5.
wow. That's why I put, I still got my 4.5, that's fun to play with.
In fact, Craig will be judging for us next month to do our low key entry.
So he has a website, Raymond?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does he scan his negatives, Raymond, or does he?
Yes.
He
Yes.
scans, does,
He scans the negatives and then does some Photoshop and prints from there.
Yeah, actually, okay, I have to check, the old electrician that I work with, he had a 4x5 scanner. I'll have to check with him, see if he still got it. I can do 2 1/4, but I can't scan 4x5.
Yeah, does that outfit on 95th and close to
Process
Deck
one?
there? Do they develop 4x5?
You know, I've never asked the question. I'm not sure.
He I know he used to because he's done something for me in the past, but if I shoot him my 4x5, I do it here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I go into a changing bag and put the film into the developer tank, and then once it's in there, it's safe as long as you don't open it up until it's been processed.
Craig processes his own.
Yeah.
yeah, I do mine
Yeah.
in trays. I don't, I develop my 4x5 in open trays in the dark.
He does his in
Yeah.
the tank.
Yeah, tank, yeah. I just don't have a tank, but I got a tank that will do like 6 or 8 shots, but I just like doing it in the tray. But that D76, I can't remember what the name, I had to go look for it, but that developer I got from Photography Formula, I was really shocked the first time I used it compared to the old Kodak D76. It's a lot better. I mean, a lot better detail, a lot better contrast. I was really surprised. And it's got a good shelf life.
The gentleman that had judged our prints before, that was instructor over Johnson County. I don't recall his name.
Aaron. Oh, I gotta think here. Hang on a minute.
I can't
Let me
remember.
open up my file here.
Kathy was
I'm
doing.
I'm gonna slip out of here. Good to see everybody.
Hey, take care, Bill.
Happy holidays.
Yeah,
Thank you.
happy
Same to
holidays.
you.
Holidays,
Yeah.
Bill.
We'll see you
Aaron
next
Smith.
time.
That the guy you're thinking of? Jim's Aaron Smith.
Okay.
Yeah, he's due to judge for us again in April.
Okay.
We're gonna do pareidolia.
I was wondering whether or not, because he had mentioned at one time that that you could audit some of his classes, and I was curious as whether or not I was going to try to check in and see if that was possible for maybe next semester.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. If you try to get a hold of him directly, he's really bad about answering email. He's slow about answering email.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just
You
go
will.
through the college. I just go through
Yeah.
the college office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you should be able to do that.
Yeah. Because I guess he's got so many irons in the fire. He doesn't look at his email too often. So
You can also get a hold of Kathy Moffat. I'm sure she knows.
Yeah.
That's why I was wondering, because she had said one time that she had been either taking one of his classes or was auditing it too. So anyway.
Yeah, I think we've got her information on an old membership list.
Well,
Yeah,
gentlemen,
if you ever need any information on any of the judges or past judges, whatever, let me know. I can fish that stuff up for you.
okay, I appreciate it, Calvin. Gentlemen, I hope everybody has a good holiday.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wish you all Merry Christmas, and Larry, thank you again for bailing me out at the last minute, man. You're
Oh, hey, I enjoyed it. The timing was good for me, so, worked out great. It was fun to
good.
do.
I was
We'll
gonna
check with you
ask-
again when March gets closer and see if you're up to it. And if you're not,
Yeah,
I'll keep.
let me have the schedule for March, and if I'm running into out in the holler, then I'm not looking forward to it, but I gotta get it done because my knees were getting so blasted sore. I was afraid when I got in the middle of the night, I was gonna fall from being so stiff. That's
Yeah.
probably when I should have done it a year ago. I complained to my doctor a year ago and he just brushed it off as arthritis and didn't do anything. I've been struggling for a year.
Jim, what were you saying?
I'd like maybe a little bit better definition of the low key.
The low key.
Yeah, but what can we have and what can't we have in it to really make it?
Okay, well, the basic the short definition we have is lighting is reduced to produce images characterized by striking contrast, dark tones, and shadows. Now, the other thing I would say, if you can, go out online and Google low key black and white photography.
Yeah,
You'll see some awesome examples.
Yeah,
But
there-
basically, you want to be
there's
able
kind
to
of
tell
stuff that's-
what you're looking at. You want to know what you're looking at, but you just want just the highlights of it. Just, yeah, hey, there you go. There's some low
yeah.
key
See,
examples.
I was thinking that there was an awful lot of whites and highlights in it, and I didn't know.
No, it's the inverse.
So
You want just enough light to be able to tell what you're looking at,
right, okay,
or enough to draw curiosity. But yeah, that's yeah, I think low key. I think the less light, the better. That's my
High key is
take.
just the opposite.
I'm sorry.
High key is just the opposite.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I would consider this one on the right high key, one on the left low key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
Yep.
go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There's your high key and low key.
Well, when I had looked at some of the examples, they were kind of like all over the place, and I wasn't sure. Okay, is this really that kind of a definition for this?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, if you online look at some of Craig McCord's images, he's got quite a few low key images on there. I think he likes to shoot low key. Just my take on it. A lot of his landscapes are really a low key image.
Okay,
They're beautiful. He does beautiful work.
Well, in a way, then that prowl that Jim, that could have been a low key.
okay. All right. Well,
Yeah, there you go. There's
oh,
there's an interesting shot. Yeah,
Yeah, it's Craig's website.
right.
oh, this is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's some of his work.
Let me write that down. What's his name now again?
Craig McCord.
I'll have to check him out.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's mostly
he does beautiful work.
work. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can see where he's definitely working those with software after he scanned them.
Not as much as you think, Larry.
Okay, but he's got some great contrast.
Oh,
Wow.
look at that. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. That's low key.
He's
Yeah.
really doing a lot in camera too.
Right.
Yeah.
He's shooting for
Yeah.
this effect.
Yeah. Really crank the contrast on the negative. Oh, interesting. I will definitely check that out. Does he
But
tell you
there's just
what
some good
filming
examples of a
system?
low key photography.
Okay. All right, that gives me something to shoot for.
If you're
All
gonna do
right,
waterfalls, you
gentlemen.
better hurry. 'Cause this time of year, they're gonna start thickening up.
All right, well, everybody, hope everything goes good for the holidays.
All righty, you take care, James.
Will do.
Love your
See you
shots.
in January.
Nice seeing you, everybody.
Good to see you
All
again,
right.
Larry.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Larry, been
night.
great. Appreciate you.